Welcome, everybody. It is Friday. What day is it? It is Friday, September 14th.
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Lamplight City is out today. Or yesterday. Never mind. Please buy and play it on the weekend. By the way, I'm in like super shameless promo mode. You haven't seen me like this ever because you have not known me in the time before when I have released an adventure game. So I am going to be plugging this game and encouraging your chat to buy it. Hey everybody, buy this game, please. Get it on Steam, Humble, and GOG for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Thanks.
But before we buy this game, why don't we do introductions? Hi, I'm Alexander.
Yeah, right.
I'm Alexander Mejia, the creative director at Human Interact. But more importantly, we have with us the creator of Lamplight City, the game which you're going to play today, that you can buy on GoG.
Can we do like a little like? I'll hypnotize you. Buy my game. I'm Francisco González. I have a game called Lamplight City, which you see behind you. I wrote and designed this game. I also did the art and the animation. I basically did everything in this game except for the music.
And the
I also
voices.
did some sound design and the voices. I did some voices.
Let's get started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Oh yeah, and this is a detective game. It's a point-and-click detective game set in an alternate 19th century sort of steampunkish Victorian past.
Rough night, wake up, sunshine. Bill, wake up! The carriage is on fire!
Bill, wake up! The carriage is on fire!
Oh, I don't have to voice it.
No, you don't.
That's only funny when I do it to you.
Oh.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
Afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
Yeah, your partner doesn't sound like he's a straight shooter.
He's kind of done with this all. You know, he just does it because he has to.
Got it. You sleep through
You sleep through the briefings?
Sure, it's really not that difficult. Snelling's monotonous drone works better than Cold Tit's emulsified soporific.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hambrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager.
Oh wait, I think that was you playing the car sound?
No, that was that was in real life.
Okay.
That's not in the game.
I was just like, what is there a car?
No, there's no magical cars in this game.
The city of New Bretagne borough.
Britannia.
You do it for me. You do it.
The city of New Britannia, borough of Chumley.
And what year is it? 1794?
1844.
1844, okay.
Thank you. Keep the change.
Sophie says that you're the king of mispronunciations.
Yeah, I am actually.
So,
Well.
our night of excitement begins.
I mean, everybody had trouble
You more
pronouncing
than
these
anyone else
names.
should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
I have a
So
feeling
don't feel
tonight
too
will
bad.
be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Reminds me of the French language where there's like a lot of extra letters and like you just don't pronounce
Don't
them.
ever try Welsh. That's all consonants.
So, first of all, the first thing that I'm saying to myself as soon as I play this game is like, damn, this art is pretty cool. I mean, I like it.
Glad this thing is
Well,
lit.
thank you.
This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
And combined with the
Don't
music and
worry,
everything,
Miles.
it really
I
sets
got
the
your
mood.
back.
They're like, there's an airship. Well, let's look at it. HMS Lid. I am gonna pronounce this wrong.
Lygia.
Like Gia.
Can't believe that
It's like
thing made
Mejia.
it all the way across the Atlantic
Yes.
in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger.
So this steampunk future is already got me excited. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna ride airships to work.
Looks
Why
like
not?
they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
So this door, very much inviting me, but just kind of getting a little bit of the world. And I've noticed that you've done that with the game where you can click around on things to find out more about the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard adventure game stuff. You have your hotspots that you can look at, but I made this a single-click interface because I found that in a two-click interface, most people don't ever right-click to look. So, and it was also really kind of just
Charming little place, isn't it?
Charming,
let them
but empty.
talk.
We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies, hardly.
Yeah,
sounds like your mother.
With my allergies, hardly. Yeah, so like most things when you look at them, if they really just have one thing, like, you know, if you look at flowers in an adventure game, for example, like he's going to tell you what the flowers look like. But like if it was a two-click interface,
Too many left. Seems
default
isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
So if this was a two-click interface, you would have had to have right-clicked in order to look at the flowers, and if you had left-clicked, it would have been interact, and he probably would have just said something like, "Oh, I don't want those flowers," or whatever.
And people skip it up when you see it in playtesting. Ah, I didn't think about that.
Well, I mean, it's mostly just that, yeah, like nobody looks, and then basically it's like double the work because you have to come up with all of these generic, I don't want to pick that up things, and then that's basically the game telling you, no, I can't do this. So I figured it would just be easier to have a single click, and the default thing you do when you look at something that doesn't have an interaction is, you look at it. And if there's certain things you'll see in the game where what you can do with them changes, and it just
Lost
changes
in
the
thought
cursor.
Again, eh, Fordham?
So
It's nice. I like that. That theory.
Be right back. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today.
I can't believe that's how you spell
Perhaps
chrysanthemums.
A custom bouquet for the special ladies in your life.
this is a educational
I have no need
game.
myself, but,
teaching you how to
maybe
spell.
Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
It was made anonymously. But are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times. But considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Handbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at Sophie. She wants me to record an audiobook. She bets it'd be awesome. And then no editor. So I could just be like, the chrysanthemums went to the town of Chrysalis, and it was in 1784, whatever the fuck year, you know what I'm talking about.
I'd pay to listen to that. I'd listen to it on a long car trip.
All right, let's learn about these burglaries here.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen. Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for one order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
How unusual.
So, another interesting thing I'm noticing about this game, there's lip sync with the dialogue.
I am so glad you noticed that.
There is so much damn dialogue in this game, I know. And the fact that you did this by yourself with the art and everything else, what were you thinking?
I don't know. There's 8,300 and something lines of dialogue in this game. And of those lines, about 4,032 of them had to be lip synced. And I was like, oh, I can do this in a month and a half. That'll be easy. Took me 3 months. So that's why this game just came out yesterday and not 3 months ago like I wanted it to. So.
All right, so let's figure out about these suspicious people here.
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the 2 men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
So this Chumley place doesn't sound like it's doesn't sound like a heaven. It sounds like it's kind of dirty.
It's kind of the bad part of town. Nobody really wants to hang out there. They have to, where all the jobs
You found
are.
any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
Are there any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
So you, as the main character, and for the sake of time, and for the sake of people who haven't bought the game yet, I know some of you said I bought it, but maybe you didn't. We won't go through all the dialogue here. We'll go upstairs.
Let's not. All you really have to ask her about to proceed is the break-in and her assistant, and then you're
I think
good
that's
to
all the
go.
information I need for now.
Oh,
All right,
I forgot to ask about the assistant.
Well, you can ask about her later.
We can go upstairs.
It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go upstairs and take a look at...
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
I'm just trying to get some more people in here so I can start plugging.
This provides
Buy my game! Buy my game! Buy my game!
Interesting.
That should that's all I'm gonna say the rest of the stream. Who cares? I'm gonna just obscure all the dialogue.
So
I'm not gonna do that.
We're looking up here, and we see that there's a gap in here, and we're trying to figure out how the person could have got inside.
The window latch. Securely locked. I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
All right, so I was about ready to ask, why didn't you use that opportunity to tell a joke? And then I realized that you're not trolls. So.
Why don't you talk to Bill?
All right, let's.
Why don't you talk to Bill and ask him about the upstairs window?
Yeah.
What's going on, Miles?
The gap in the window upstairs is intriguing.
Do you think it might be the point of entry?
Indeed. I just need to find something long and thin to confirm my theory.
I think you were born with something like that, Miles.
You're disgusting, Bill.
I know. That's why I always do the dirty work.
Oh, nice.
I know my audience.
Let's get back to it.
All right, so we got to go find long and thin.
Yeah.
And, we can just look at this device up here. What is this?
I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech. or just doesn't understand it.
She's pretty old-fashioned, I can tell.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs.
So I noticed when you walk in here, you have like this really big window up here just to like draw you to it. And I should have clicked on it first because that's like what normal people do.
Not necessarily.
But I was just like, oh yeah, this little window here, because it's like you kind of look at this window and you're like, oh,
see
okay.
if I can do a little bit of an art like thing. If you'll notice, the majority of the colors in this room are like oranges and browns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the main three blue things, which are the big window, the little window, and the blue reflection on the floor and on the crates, they form a sort of a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of to get your eye drawn to those particular areas, and make them stand out a little bit more.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Little
Unmarked.
the scenes thing there.
If the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
Oh yeah, he's a little allergic to flowers for some reason.
Well, because he's allergic to flowers. A lot of people are allergic to flowers. You don't need a reason, do you? His body's...
I have a few more questions for you, Mrs. Hambrook.
Very well, Detective. If it will help you conclude your investigation faster.
So she's kind of pissed off that it's in here. Someone called it anonymously to say, hey, there was someone stealing, but not really because they were leaving money behind.
Yeah, and she just doesn't like cops.
Yeah.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Man, it's Friday. She just want to go home.
Yeah.
And your partner just wants to
I
think.
think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Miles just wants to solve the case.
And I just want to play adventure games and get some pizza.
Oh, man. That would be great.
Aha! This hook is exactly what I need. Mrs. Hanbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Yes. I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
So, very first thing I noticed as soon as I started playing this game, there is no inventory system.
Yeah.
There is a
no
case
inventory
book.
There is a case book.
And it has some information that you've gotten, so that way you don't have to like write down everything, because the game is deep, which I'm glad that you've done that it's not a hand-holdy game with some deepness, some depth to it. But it's funny where it's like you added depth in certain areas and yet you made it approachable in other areas, and that combination makes this game very unique, even though people might look at this and say like, oh yeah, it's just like a low res, point and click adventure game. So
I think that's also part of the reason that some websites that will remain anonymous were like, oh, this is an adventure game. It doesn't have any interactivity. 3 stars. Sorry, I'm not bitter or anything.
You know what? I will say this. When an adventure game comes out, the people who really love them, they really love them. And the people who are like, I need to shoot something every second, they don't like them.
Well, no, but
the fact that they still gave it 3 stars for someone that doesn't like adventure games.
Oh no,
tells
but that's
you
the
something.
thing. It was a website that was like dedicated to adventure games. They were just like, this isn't adventure game enough, and therefore we don't like it. Yeah, so
purist,
yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
But yeah, no, that's exactly what Sophie's saying. Is exactly why I didn't want to put an inventory in this game.
Because then you end up rubbing all the items together to see like which ones work, and they interrupt the flow of the story.
Well, and plus you're a detective trying to solve cases. Like there's no point in having like get the cheese and put it on the cat to distract the monkey. Like that sort of thing is stupid, and I wanted the obstacles and the puzzles to be more organic. So like,
should be getting a move on.
Exactly. You're a detective, not a fucking engineer. So in this case, you've just picked up the hook that you need.
Yeah, and you know what you need to do. Yeah, we're gonna try.
Yeah.
This.
So when you go back to the window, instead of opening your inventory, clicking the hook on the hotspot,
you just
click on the hotspot and it automatically does it. So it takes out the middleman.
Going to be exactly
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook...
And it reduces the amount of things of Miles saying, I can't use this on that.
Rather dark out here.
Watch your step, then. This experiment of yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I'll be fine. Now,
I wonder if that was
close
any...
and lock the window,
No.
Bill?
Miles seems like the kind of guy that would like let you stay. So now I've got control of the hook, and I can hit buttons to try to see if I can unhook it. There we go.
There you go.
Well, I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that, anyway?
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I should learn how to pick locks.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would be telling.
Your bank account number? Oh wait, I don't know. It's like steampunk, so who knows? So, Sophie was asking, how did he close the latch behind him when he left?
Who, the burglar?
The part... Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if the burglar came in and did that, well, he probably used the tool to close the latch.
Yeah, you can use the tool to close it back up.
You can just use,
And it's not necessarily that tool. He just used a tool. He may have something that's even better.
Yeah.
He may have like
could
one of
have
those
some
police
tongs or
things.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's talk to the shop owner. Tell her, I think we found a probable entry point.
Ah, Trevor.
Evening, Cecilia. I've got the order ready to bring in.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Leger. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long. As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the detective would like a word with you.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right. Otherwise, some hooligan's likely to run off with them.
My partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Ah, the glamour of police work.
Now, Mr. Hastings, if I could ask you a few questions?
Go on, then.
All right, Hastings. You did it! I know you did it! I know you did it! That reminds me of L.A. Noire, where like you can hit the wrong button. Is like question. And he's like, "You sold the fucking drugs! I know you did it! Don't lie to me!" And you're just like, "Whoa, dude, calm down, Grandma."
Do you know what my favorite bit of like Phelps just going completely, not even crazy, but just
like going off the rails?
Going off the there's a DLC case where there's a guy who
I haven't played the DLC.
Oh, well, there's a DLC case where he's looking into like a stolen car, and it's something to do with like the Argentinian ambassador or something. And he finds that like he had a bunch of rent boys and stuff. So if you doubt him, he just deadpan looks at him straight in the eye and goes, "Do you fuck young boys, Mr. Whatever?" And he's like, "How dare you say this about me?" It's really funny.
All I know is someone's been making off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea who it could be, how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying. In my day, if you robbed a place, you did it the right way. It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Now, I never said that.
Have you noticed anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards. Like I said, it's a real mystery.
So, I see someone new. Hi, Elitely IQED. Hopefully I said that correctly. Is it someone maybe you know?
I don't think I do.
Yeah,
Elitely IQED, whoever you are, hello.
Yeah, hello, welcome. We're playing Lamplight City. Came out yesterday.
It did. If you'd like to buy it, it's available on Steam.
Don't listen to this. Don't listen to him. It's not like he worked on the game for like how many years he worked on it for?
You can get it here at Steam if you like. You can get it here at GoG, or you can get it
Great science to it.
here
Monday, Wednesday, and
at the
Friday
Humble
afternoon,
Store.
Nice.
Cecilia gives me
Anyone
notice
you
the
like,
flowers
take
to
your
give to
pick.
the wholesalers.
It'll be
I head over to
lovely.
the gas cone around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order. They load up the crate, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the morning. That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
All right. So now he drops the crates off, he delivers the flowers, and he's like, those burglars, they should just be stealing and not leaving the money. They're
Pretty much.
burglaring wrong.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back to work.
Appreciate it, Detective. If you don't mind, Detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
So by the way, really good job on picking the voice acting and casting them.
Oh,
Learn
thanks.
anything?
Yeah,
Possibly.
it was a good
I may
cast.
have an idea.
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign. But if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
So, good cop over here, not Phelps, because Phelps ended up being not a good cop. Spoiler! It has a plan here, so let's talk to Bill and figure out what's going on.
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Bill sounds like an alright guy, though. Let's just jump straight to it.
Right. Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks, on one of the delivery nights. Since it has yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
And I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself, there'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Spoken like someone who truly has no idea how to have any fun.
I'm sure I'll get the hang of it one of these days, especially with your expert tutelage.
Okay, let's go have a chat with Mrs. Hambrook. I'm sure she'll be delighted to know we're spending the night.
Spending the night.
Forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go deaf after the last time we did this.
What?
I said... Oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
What, you mean quitting the force?
The Force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. A change of scenery never hurt anyone. Plus, it's much easier for you than it is for me. I've got a family to consider, after all.
Ah, right.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that, Bill. It's just... Shh.
I think I heard something. Oh, no.
Fucking knew it. Oh,
Stop! Police!
good job.
Damn it. He's got up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Good job.
Bill!
Good job, Bill.
Officer, get a knife. Ready your pistol for him.
But you're too close!
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now!
All right, chat. I want to hear it from you.
For this, officer.
Oh boy.
I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important.
Do we
Let
shoot
me go.
or do we
We'll
negotiate?
come back, and we can all forget this ever happened. Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
All right, do we reason with them or do we take the shot? Come on, chat! I need help!
How brutal are we? A lot of people are like, they just go. Right. Well.
Here, we can keep reasoning.
Look, we've caught you red-handed. Put down the knife, let my partner go, and give yourself up.
No! I'm not going to jail. Do you know what they do to people in there?
Yes, I do. If you cooperate, I'll see if I can get the judge to ease your sentence.
I appreciate your tactics, Fordham, but this really isn't the time.
They're like, shoot him up. Here, we can.
Don't drop soap.
Yeah,
okay,
don't drop
yes.
soap. That is not an option here. Don't drop soap is not one. So,
it's not.
I see one for shoot.
Come on, all you've really done is taken some flowers. You're not a killer. Don't make
my vote goes
yourself.
towards shoot.
You don't know anything about me.
The developer wants us to shoot.
I mean, you've already reasoned with him, but I mean, when it comes down to,
or else your partner is going over the side.
All right.
Fordham, this madman clearly can't be reasoned with. Take your shot now.
All right, let's go for the shot.
No!
Whoops!
Oh.
Fuck!
Bill! Oh, God! I am so sorry, my friend. I am so sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Sophie. Oh, you suck at aiming. I don't suck at aiming. I would have taken the shot. 3 months later.
Miles, wake up! Your house is on fire!
Huh?
What?
What?
You see, I told you it was funnier when I did it to you.
Yes. Hilarious.
What's the matter? Have a rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific.
What? What's going on?
Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
Oh. He's a ghost.
That was the idea.
well, he's a voice.
Now, you don't really mean that.
Believe me, I do.
I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
Yeah, that would make me go insane.
I'm losing my grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
This life's not so bad. This is my friend that I shot. He's just there being like, hey, what's up? What's the fucking problem? Alright, we gotta find the burglar from the flower shop. Actually, I want to hear this line right here. I'm curious.
I've dealt with you for the past 3 months. I can keep doing it.
Yeah, and with the way you've been going, you'll end up like me sooner rather than later.
Oh, damn.
So then it's back to your oh-so-clever plan of tracking down the burglar from the flower shop?
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I can understand your confusion, considering it was you who killed me. But the point remains. You wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
A decent night's sleep.
A decent night's sleep?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Oh, no.
Fine.
We can do this.
Well, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's going to start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
So I really like this setup that you've put together here for all of this, where it's like you got your partner, he's kind of a jerk, kind of like, but he's still like lovable, kind of a funny guy, and then it's like you're falling like, oh shit, it's not my partner, and now he's haunting you, and you've got to solve the mystery.
That's right.
And you also find out a couple other things too as you jump into this other room here. I also like the variability in the story.
Look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Like all those
Very
lines are
much
different because I did different choices the first time I played through this.
Yeah. Well, some of them were
were
different.
talking
But yeah,
about
you also
sleeping.
have the pick
Did I
of
say
like what
anything
you can say in there.
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
All right, so let's take a look at this message here. And so his name is Fordham?
Fordham. Miles Fordham.
Fordham, okay. A big case is coming in which I think will interest you. Meet me at the Raven Coffee House for more details.
The Ruin Coffee House.
Oh, the Ruin?
The Raven
R-O-U-E-N.
comes up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
C. Upton. All right.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the Ruin Coffee House. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
All right, so there's a lot of things over here that describe your past in history that you can go through and listen to. And some of the things that I thought were of note were the truncheon.
I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon.
And the desk here.
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
So yeah, you were a straight-laced cop, and you got to play your fall from grace. And now we're gonna go on our story for redemption.
Enjoy your reading. I'll be back soon.
Give my regards to Constance.
If you want to look at all of the other objects, you
could
buy this
buy.
game.
Yeah, you could buy
and
the
play
game.
it yourself. You can buy it on Steam. You can buy it on GoG. You can buy it on Humble. It's only $14.99, and you'll get several hours of entertainment out of it. If you like a good detective mystery, you should get it.
Nice upsell.
The Ruin Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
Dirty plates.
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they? She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
So you'll have to explain this to me.
Good to see you up and about again.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been easy. But it was either go back to work or spend all day in bed and starve.
Oh, Sophie wants to know what's up with the painting.
Spot open. Lots of places would have just put in someone.
It's a painting.
Self-portrait as a desperate man.
What about it?
B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles?
So,
Least they could have done.
Sophie, I have a question, and let me talk to Constance first, and then I'll ask.
If it isn't my old friend, Upton O'Good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
So, is this like a historical thing where women weren't allowed in the coffee houses back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, well, that was part of my research. Women were not allowed. They were allowed to work in coffee houses, but they weren't allowed to be patrons of coffee houses until like the late 1800s.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
And they weren't allowed in coffee houses because they were pretty much like men's only social club / bar type things. It wasn't like, you know, coffee houses today where it's like, oh, I'm going to go to Starbucks and get coffee. It was kind of just like, hey, we're going to get drunk.
It was just an excuse to go to the bar, but it wasn't called the bar.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not sure if the U.S. had them. I know for sure that they had them in England, but I'm not sure if they also had them in the U.S.
All right, so let's see what's going on with this case.
I got your message. What's going on?
It's time for you to join the big boys again, Fordham. Your days of finding lost cats are over.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
Can't say it rings any bells.
Can't say the name rings any bells.
I'm not surprised. She's one of the Gascon Grand Dames. Doesn't really run in our kind of social circles.
Ah, right.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctors
I'm going to
said
mute
she had
for
no
a minute
pulse.
while the siren comes
Her
by.
son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
It's not another ghost. Actually, I don't know if it's another ghost or not. We're going to find out.
Has Madame Dupre recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
All right.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
So what's cool about this is like all this dialogue is optional. I like that anytime a game does that where it's just like, hey, you want to be free? Go for it. And then it's like, oh, but if you got questions, just come back, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
So let's talk about Bill's death.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And, of course, there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who really caused Bill's death is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
So what I like about Bill is he sounds like the kind of guy that might be like kind of crass, but I feel like he holds back because like, oh, now everybody can play this game, including younger folks that might not like harsh language, but I feel like he's the kind of that's like, fucking, yeah, she should know. I don't know, did he slip in a lot of that during recordings?
Then you'd better get back to
Did he ad-lib anything?
He did a few things. They're mostly in the
I'm not
bloopers.
entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar. But I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Because he's got that New England Jersey kind of accent. Just very slight.
A bit, yeah.
It's good though, I like it. I really like it. So now we're gonna go out of here, where the game kind of opens up now a little bit. And it opens up even more as you play it, but now we can go to Dupree Manor, Bow Street. And it says jail, but why is it spelled G-A-O-L?
Because that's the old-timey spelling of jail.
Ah. Because I noticed
they
say jail. I know! How much research did you put into this?
Oh, a bit.
You are aware this is private property, sir?
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupree. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupree's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
Then if you don't mind, I'll have a look around.
Sophie's asking me to pronounce that G-A-O-L before I heard it. I would have said goal. Like goal!
Goal. Bow Street goal. Yeah, well, I mean...
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working, but right now it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes. With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupree could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed.
Ooh. So in the middle of this terrible place, there's this very, very rich lord, which was like kind of common back in those times, right? Where there was like somebody who owned an entire town because they owned the means of production, right?
Sorry, what was that?
Like in this town, it's like there's a rich person that like owns all of it, and they're like talking about like their excessive wealth. And I remember hearing stories about like this guy ran the coal mine and he was the richest guy in town and he employed everybody and
right, yeah. I was kind of figuring that like the rich people that you encounter in this game are like this family comes from old money from Europe and they're kind of just hanging out and they've got, you know, some old money. You meet a family later on that's kind of like the people that are building the new airship. And so like everybody that you meet, then there's like this whole society like of older people that also would be old money or whatever. But yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad that you did that kind of research and put in that authenticity to it, because when I play this, I feel like I am, even though it's an alternate history, it feels just as real as anything. Because I don't know, maybe because I'm American and don't know history.
Well, actually, not to spoil too much, but Madame Dupree and all of these people are kind of... Madame Dupree, she's kind of based on a real-life historical figure from New Orleans, who I won't name because if I tell you who it is, you probably get an idea of what this is all about. But...
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about Madame Dupree.
She is a great woman and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
You think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
Well, let's find about the death, because you're the doctor.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupree's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive. As I was unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupree had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupree wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look.
All right, we got another place we can go to.
Did you examine Madame Dupre after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupre to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
Poisoning.
What leads you to believe Madame Dupre was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult? There have been reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
Facts are facts. You heard him. It's done. It's solved. Pufferfish poison. Yep. Someone said it. That facts. I don't like this guy.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
Why? He's a doctor.
I answered them adequately.
Yeah, but he's like 18th century hack doctor, you know?
Yeah, I guess he is.
Her eyes are glazed over and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious to her surroundings. If we didn't know she'd been buried alive, I'd say she was just exhibiting the typical symptoms of your average rich person.
Oh, Bill.
So let's go ahead. Let's jump in and see what is inside the Dupree mansion. So you're private investigator, right? That's like officially your title?
Are you the new servant?
No, I'm Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into your mother's attempted murder.
How did you know I was her son? Oh, of course. You must have sensed it with your detective's intuition. I should have guessed by that giant head of yours.
Are you feeling all right, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, I'm fine. Much better than when those pesky police officers were snooping around earlier. But I like you, Mr. Fordham. I can already tell you're not like them at all. Please, call me Andrew.
Yes, well, I'll have a look around and I may need to ask you some questions. Do you think you can handle that?
I can. In fact, I really look forward to it.
If the good doctor gave him a mild sedative, I'd hate to see what the stuff you take would have done to him.
Dang, so you're just like functioning on like massive sedatives, apparently.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, like, all these people, they're slumming around, but you're just like you got your own problems.
Yeah, pretty much. Miles is a troubled man. I mean, he hears the voice of a dead guy. That's pretty bad.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
All right, let's ask about his mom.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
She came back from the dead. I couldn't believe it. My mother, resurrected, just like Jesus.
Yes. I heard you're the one who accused Mr. Martin of the crime.
Oh, no, I already talked to the police about that. I don't want to think about it right now.
I'm just cruising, bruh. Oh, jeez.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. Nothing as exciting as what you do, I'm sure. Ooh, tell me, do most bad people start crying when you catch them? I'll bet it's a laugh riot to see them sobbing away.
No, Mr. Montgomery, most of them don't.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
Ooh, excuse me.
All right, well, this guy's not
Thanks for
going to
your
get
time.
any information.
No, thank you for yours.
This is ridiculous. He won't be of any use in this state. If it takes him as long to snap out of it as it takes you, we'll be waiting around here until noontime tomorrow. There has to be a way to bring him back to his senses. Maybe that quack outside knows something of use.
All right, let's go back to that quack outside. I think he had a name, but...
Yeah, he's Dr. Fellows. Also, for your reference, you can double-click to quick exit places if you don't want to watch him walk
Doctor,
all
may I
over the
ask you a
place.
I watched your live streams with all these animations in here, and you're telling me on day one to start skipping animations?
Oh no, you'll get the animation. You just don't have to watch him walk across the screen to get to the animation.
Honestly, I think the walk speed is fine. It's not like a Sierra game where you're either walking stupidly slow or like wigging out really fast while walking kind of at a normal speed.
Just wanted to check. Just wanted to make sure.
I feel like they're pretty good.
Okay.
May I ask exactly what kind of sedative you gave Andrew?
A simple tincture of laudanum. It's what I give all my nervous patients.
He seems a bit out of sorts.
Hot? Meat kettle.
It can have that effect, but it usually wears off in half a day or so.
Is there a way to bring him out of his condition sooner?
A stimulant would have the opposite effect, but I wouldn't recommend mixing the two. It could have potentially harmful effects on his heart.
Oh, of course. I wasn't planning on doing anything of the sort. I was just curious.
It's cute how you act like you have no experience in these matters. It's almost convincing.
I am 100% certain that is going to happen today.
Well.
Plot key Wolf, late to the stream, but what engine powers the game, Francisco?
What powers the game
I've
is
got for
love.
I hope I answered them adequately.
No, it's an adventure game studio. It's a free-to-download engine that you can use to make 2D point-and-click adventure games. And that is what I've been using throughout my entire career of making 2D point-and-click adventure games. Also, if you want to hear me talk to the parrot.
I knew we were the parrot! I knew it! I was gonna ask, but you spoiled it. You spoiled it.
Sorry.
It's fine. Here we go.
Must have cost the Dupre's a cool copper.
Listen to this, guys. Crank this.
I should have played him as the parrot from Aladdin.
And then have Disney on you? No way,
That's
man.
true.
Mickey Mouse don't
Yeah.
fuck around.
You're absolutely right.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Did you do these in the booth? Or did you just do it at home?
No, I did them in the booth.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Like in between other actors, I went into the booth and I just recorded this and another character that I play.
Oh my god, how many lines are for the bird? How many lines?
Oh, not that many. Less than 10.
Pieces
Probably
of
like
eight?
9.
Hi, matey.
Pieces of 8?
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Yeah, it just
Polly want a
repeats.
cracker?
No, thank you.
Okay.
So long, birdie.
Bye-bye.
By the way, if you have not hung out with Francisco...
I'm going to say that at the end of the stream.
Okay. By the way, if you have not hung out with Francisco, he has many fun voices.
A horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupre didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls.
Yeah, she's got some freaky shit in here.
This is always my favorite part of detective work.
Looting houses.
Nothing inside but a bunch of extra doilies.
How disappointing.
That's what I love about adventure games. Like you're always around just picking up anything that's not nailed down and looting. And I think the reason why that reviewer, I know, except for this game.
Except in games where there's no inventory.
But
yes.
you still take the objects. They're just they're not.
Sure.
I mean, they
They're
make
just
sense from the
clues.
story. Yeah, but they're clues. Yeah.
Right.
Goodness, someone went overboard with the flowers. This brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Ones I'd rather forget.
Oh, too soon. So yeah, see right here, tweezers. I can pick those up.
These should be useful.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's correct to say well, we don't have items. It's just that they're contextual.
Right.
I mean, you still have them, but it makes way more sense from what you were just saying, where people are just they spend a bunch of time rubbing items together, and you've taken that out. It's if you have the item, it's it makes logical sense. It's man, if only I had some tweezers here. It's I've got some tweezers. Let's do that. Yeah, they're saying leeches.
Is this really the best that medical science has to offer?
Why, yes, it is. It's. I'm sorry. What was the year again for this game?
1844.
It's 1844. 1844, boy! Oh, vigor pills.
Yeah.
Dr. Tennyson's vigor pills. These would make a sloth act like a hummingbird.
Let's get those.
The bottle is empty.
Fucking figures.
The science of pharmacology. Yeah, I'm sure it's riveting stuff. It looks as though this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark.
Oh man, you are such a dick! Ah! It's like, oh look, this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark, and it's just like, oh, I'm gonna steal this. I'm gonna steal it.
Well,
I hope remember.
I mean, it might be important.
Wasn't too important.
Looks like it's a letter for Andrew.
So Sophie wants to know why all this stuff's in her house. Do we find out later, or do you spoil it?
What? Why this workstation is in her house?
Yeah.
Because her son studies pharmacology, so this is like his little workstation part of the house. Her kids still live with her.
Got it.
So, also, if you want to do funny voices, you can read the letter. This letter is not voiced.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Enclosed. Enclosed is the agreed upon fee. I wouldn't be able to concentrate without yourself. Sorry, is that the right voice?
I don't know.
Is that the
maybe.
voice you wanted?
I didn't want anything. It's your stream. You do what you want. You do what you find most entertaining. I'd take anything.
Dr. Tennyson charges an obscene amount. Thank goodness for good people like you with home pharmacies. Yeah, he's just like putting, he's just putting it in whatever. It's like like some ditch vigor pills. They aren't like the real.
They're off brand.
I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel. Wonder where that is. P.S. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'll wait a few days before passing by. Alright, so that's a clue. And what's great about it is now it's in my case book here.
The letter is under document.
Oh, it's under documents. Okay. So yeah, here we go.
So letter to Andrew. There you go.
Yeah, and then when I need to read it, I can.
Yeah, her son is totally dealing drugs out of his bedroom. Sophie gets it.
It's 100% what's happening.
This isn't his bedroom. This is the music room. So he's just got a little drug meth lab in the family music room.
Oh, a puzzle. So I remember when I was like 6, we learned about the letters on the keyboard, and I was like, how come I can't play fart? Where's the R? Not even realize there's F and A, and it's just like, I'm gonna play fart over and over again.
Nice.
Emmy wants me to play the Final Fantasy VII Prelude. We will get there soon. We will get there soon enough.
Plays Zozo from Final Fantasy VI.
I've never seen so many beauty products together in one place. Doesn't look like they get used much, though.
So, this room is... Let's see whose room this is.
Let's have a look through these papers. Aha, what's this?
Oh. Dear Mrs. Montgomery, unfortunately, I have been informed of a series of burglaries in the neighborhood near the room you're renting for me at 76 Forest Lane. As a precaution, I've gone ahead and changed the locks. Please find and close this copy of your new key. I hope it doesn't cause you too much of an inconvenience. Edwina Crestel. Did I do that? Or Crestfell?
Yeah, you got it.
I have a hard time reading cursive.
It's fine.
I'm like really bad at that.
It's fine.
Interesting. This Miss Montgomery must be Andrew's sister. But why is she renting a room in the Chum? Guess there's really only one way to find out.
The Chum.
Well, someone's fancy. I never liked these types of beds much. They feel too claustrophobic.
I always thought they had a certain appeal myself.
Yes, you would think that about a bed that lets you shut out the rest of the world.
Ah. Let's see. Chest. Loot.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Okay. We'll have to find another key somewhere else to get that open. By the way, if you watch Francisco's development streams, these door opening animations, they have 16 frames in them.
And, they do.
And while you were working on them, you were like 4 days deep into it, you said, "Oh, by the way, I just checked out like I don't remember what it was, like some really high-end adventure game made by like a real company with
Gabriel Knight.
Yeah, and you're just like, they have 3 fucking frames.
It was more like 5, but yeah.
Why did I choose 16? I'm so dumb. I have to finish them all now.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
But you know what?
You filmed yourself.
Looks better.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
If I can toot my own horn for a little bit.
If you're talking about a reason to play this game, 16 animation frames on the door.
Door opening animations. That's the only reason to play this game.
There's a lot of other reasons, but it is a reason. It is a reason.
Yeah, and if you'd like to purchase this game for yourself and see all of the door opening animations possible, you can buy this game on Steam.
Because there are other characters, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of other characters that open doors, but you can buy this game on Steam. You can buy this game at the following link. You can buy this game on GoG at this link. Or you could even go to the Humble store and buy it at this link. Buy it at all 3. Gift it to your friends. Anybody you know who likes a nice detective adventure, they'll probably like it.
Do it or the parrot dies. Sorry. It's like, or the parrot dies.
I'm a parrot. I'm so ticked off that I'm molting.
So, the F scale. Is this
the C? The C scale.
Okay, sorry. So this is not the fart scale. Sorry.
No, okay. I'm sorry. It's not the fart scale. I'm trying to see what words you actually can make out of the scale.
So that must be a puzzle right there. That must be a puzzle right there.
Oh, cafe. There you go. Meet me at the cafe.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if there's anything in these drawers.
By the way, Plotkey Wolf says the game's #1 on Good Old Games.
More stationery.
Don't forget the first rule of detective work.
That's good
old
games.
If there's nothing useful inside, check underneath and between.
Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
Now this is intriguing.
I'm not gonna warn you again, you disgusting mulatto thug. Stay away from my daughter and my house, or I'll kill. And then it's burnt and ripped in half. Ooh. That seems kind of ominous.
You've got some huge bags under your eyes, Miles. Reminds me of the case we had on that strange train.
Don't remind me.
That's an old uniform, from the turn of the century by the look of it. A much younger Madame Dupre. I suppose that's a nice alternative to a mirror.
So I just want to say this right now. Getting this to look right in a low-res game takes a lot of work. Good job on the art, man.
Thank you. Well, this is actually double the resolution of every other game I've done. Because, like, a Golden Wake was 320 by 200, and so was Shardlight, although I didn't do the art on that one. But this one's 640 by 400, so it was easier to get a little bit more detail, which was nice.
That's nice.
Because, 320 by 200, it's really hard to get good detail.
Oh, I know.
So, yeah.
Choice and consequence. Who in their right mind would write a book about that? I don't even want to know what that one's about.
Equestrian mesmerism.
I read that one last year. If you ever wanted to know the intimate details of a buffalo's anatomy,
that could have been the alternate title. The alternate alliterative title.
Doesn't appear to be very brief if there's 2 volumes of it. I wonder if anyone outside the family would find this even remotely interesting.
All right, so there's a lot of books in here we can look at, but we're still moving along.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the pills. I got the information of what's going on. There's some stuff going on in this house. I gotta make that thing for the guy so I can wake him up. Where should I go next on this? Because we are rolling around the hour. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much you can do in there right now, but just so you see the entire house.
Plotkey Wolf makes a good point. It still feels like a DOS 320 by 240 game. But there are different sensibilities when you make a game like that. Like it can actually be sometimes in a lot of ways more encumbering, especially for what you're trying to do. And like with all these little details in here, this feels way more detailed than any game that you would have played back then. But it still has that feeling of like, hey, I'm playing an old school point-and-click adventure game.
Yeah, it looks like gumbo's on the menu tonight. I wonder how it compares with Upton's special recipe.
All right, so let's talk to the servant here and see what's going on.
Pardon me, miss.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm investigating the attempted murder.
Whoops.
Oops.
Yep, I clicked the button there. I slipped.
That's fine.
You know anything about Dupree?
Do you know anything about what happened to Madame Dupre?
No, I don't. Please leave me to my work. I shouldn't be talking to you.
All right, I'm going.
So she doesn't want to talk.
Nope. Not right now.
Kind of a dead end. All right, well, let's keep going.
And yes, AGS can handle any resolution. It's just most people tend to work in lower resolution. I want to try making my next game at 1280 by 800. So it'll be almost 1080p.
All right. So I know that I'm walking out here to exit, but at any time you can actually just go up here to the map and say you want to fast travel, which is pretty cool. So just in the interest of time, we've rolled over about an hour and 15 minutes. Where would you recommend that I go next to help advance story?
How much of this bit let's be transparent, how much of this have you actually played?
This is about how much I played up to.
Okay. Go to the cemetery. We'll have a fun little scene. Go to the cemetery and talk to the police officer.
Ah, St. Denis Cemetery. Best view in the city. It's just a shame none of the residents can enjoy it. I think I'm buried around here somewhere. Wonder how the old gravestone is doing these days.
Can I look at the gravestones in the foreground? Nope.
Nope. Sorry.
I can look at the tomb, though.
This just goes to show you can't take it with you, so you might as well spend it all on a giant tomb. If only that police officer wasn't guarding the tomb, you could go in there and raid it to your heart's content. I don't know him. Must be a recent addition to the force. Well, at least he won't recognize you.
All right, let's go in.
Good day to you, officer.
Good day, sir. How may I be of assistance?
She killed her, she cooks her, says Emmy St. Sorokin. You solved the mystery. She cut up... Well, she didn't kill her because she's not dead. She's sitting
remember
in a
she got poisoned by some black magic.
She was made to appear dead and she was buried alive.
Sure is a nice day to be walking around the cemetery, wouldn't you agree?
I guess. If you're into that sort of thing.
Selling these fine leather jackets.
The noise those bugs are making is starting to drive me crazy.
Would you mind letting me in the tomb, please?
Afraid I can't do that, sir. This tomb is currently part of a police investigation and ain't available for visits until further notice.
But it's my dearly departed Aunt Hester's birthday today, and I always bring her flowers.
I'm sorry, sir, but I've got my orders. Come back in a few days. I can assure you, your aunt won't have gone anywhere.
All right, well, he's not going to let me in.
If only that police officer...
So, is there anything over here? No, there's an exit.
The plaque says Harrison. Doesn't look very opulent, so I guess it doesn't belong to anyone important.
So, another thing I noticed that you've done is, like, everything's at magic hour at night, and it has, like, this golden rim light on everything, and I did that on the photo that I took because I was like, oh, man, it looks so good. I should do that more often.
Yeah, it was, I just kind of wanted to have everything...
You may think it's a silly
It's called Lamplight City, so, I mean...
It's good. It's got its own unique art style.
It should mostly be at night when it's lit by lamps, you know, so...
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir.
Oh.
Please, move along.
I kind of thought that this might have been a dialogue puzzle or something.
No,
nice view of the river from up here. You can hardly even see the cloud of smog over the chum.
So you can, anytime you find an obstacle or you might need a hint, it's advisable to go back to your trusty friend Upton and talk to her about stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to Upton.
Go to Upton. Is it the
So she's just hanging out at the coffee house all day.
Pretty much. She's just getting totally hopped up on caffeine.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's family tomb, and he won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Ooh, I could dress up as an old lady and be like, could someone help me cross the street? And then, like, I whip out and it's like, surprise, motherfucker, and whip him with a cane.
That would be an interesting alternate solution. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, boy.
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I have a feeling it will take something a touch more powerful than coffee.
And then Dupre's also.
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
I'm glad that he can, like, keep himself, like, composed right and not, like, lose that shit where he's just like, stop making that voice. Who are you talking to? Oh, nobody.
Well, most of the time he's able to do that.
All right, so let's see if I can go back there now and get myself in there. Be like, there's an old lady crossing the street. Help!
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
All right, how do I break an old lady's leg over here? Am I doing this wrong? I need a disguise, don't I?
No, you don't need a disguise. You need a lady.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ask. We need to ask somebody else. Should we go to the Bow Street jail? Or go home?
You should go home and talk to your loving, adoring wife.
I'll be like, hey, loving, adoring wife, will you,
I've always wanted to say that.
Welcome home. So what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupre? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
Do you? Do you? Really? Here, we'll ask her for help.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Distracting officer. I'm very glad that we can do that.
I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
What is it?
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupre's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well, you are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then.
Yes.
Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
Dang. Why you gotta be so
I've
mean?
gotten all turned around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way you came.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob me blind. Exactly how many of them have you got lying in wait for poor unsuspecting fools you bring them?
Just one.
Oh!
And he doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is to watch you lose your head.
Miles, was that really necessary?
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work.
All right, cool.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll be fine. When you're on the force as long as I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Although I think you may have already used up that privilege.
Oh.
Well, it's been fun, but I need to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
So how many frames of animation was that punch? Because that felt really smooth.
I don't remember, but it was definitely
It was like 16?
more than 10.
It was like 16?
It was probably about 16.
You're in 16 frame animations, yeah.
I'll tell you that the animation that was the largest number of frames was the animation where he gets up from his chair and puts on his coat, and that was about 32 frames.
Wow.
So
now we've got the whole chat talking about coffee.
nice. I could use some coffee. I'm starting to fade.
That nest is full of eggs. But where's the mother bird?
Perhaps she abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles?
Well, now we're in here.
I suppose the whole heaven shining down upon the tomb motif is good for the dead people's self-esteem. What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it.
Oh, there's been a cop in front of it.
You don't suppose this is...
It's the Weeping Angel.
Surprise, surprise! A hidden compartment with a stash of pills inside. Seems Mr. Montgomery has a little business on the side.
Yep, we got his vigor pills. Now we can say, snap out of it!
Celine, 1823 to 1844. Taken too soon. Rest ye with the angels.
This must be what was going to be Madame Dupre's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What? Were you expecting a note from her attacker?
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least.
Looking for the clues.
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another.
All right, so it looks like we've got the pills. I can take them back to the guy and say, hey, let's snap out of it! Snap out of it! So we only had to assault a police officer and possibly get your wife involved in a I don't know, is it a felon to
I don't know.
It's 1844.
I don't know. Yeah.
Go to the Dupre Manor. And then we'll give him some pills. Come on, there are item puzzles in this. Man, coffee chat. It's going hot.
It really is. No pun intended. Or pun totally intended. That's the sound of
I
steam.
have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
Here, how about you,
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
Speaking of Steam, yeah! You can buy this game on Steam. You can buy this game on GOG.com. You can buy this game on Humble. Follow the links up in the chat.
Oh, here we go.
Paste them again, but I don't want to spam.
So here's what we can do. Chat, should we call him out on the police? Should we try to narc on him? Or say that we'll let it slide if you cooperate with me? Or just be quiet, take one of these pills. Yeah, that's actually what I would want to do. It's like, just quiet. Just, what?
I say go with that one.
Just be quiet and take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you. My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work. My heart is racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more time.
Crack.
That seems to have done the trick. I just hope we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her. Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework. Not many wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
Dang, dude.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes well.
He's a pusher.
I just hope Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started university. I'd be so disappointed if she couldn't see me finish.
Sophie says this guy's a definition of sniveling. I agree.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning. You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
Dang, that I don't know, man.
I found a letter upstairs addressed to a Miss Montgomery. Who is that?
You were looking through the bedrooms, eh?
Yes, it's part of my job.
Well, as long as you don't go rifling through any of my things, we'll get along fine. Anyway, Miss Montgomery is my sister Juliet. That's her bedroom upstairs next to Mother's.
All right. Did Francesca voice the parrot?
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
Okay.
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts. Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Why do people run away from their problems instead of facing them? Why, Miles?
Hey, do you know where this cabin is?
Dang, dude.
Afraid not. I don't share his passions, so I never cared much to accompany him on his outings.
Alright, so we gotta find out where that place is.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants. Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got 2 on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
Juliet, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one. Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliet going to university. But you don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
Oh, but do tell.
It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
What does Juliet study, by the way?
Botany. She spends most of her time at the university greenhouse. It wouldn't surprise me if she's there right now.
So have we talked about how this game has multiple paths and solutions and potential suspects? I feel like we haven't.
No, this would be a very perfect time to talk about that.
Yeah,
Unless I should say anything before ending the conversation.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Thanks for your
time. We can just lull here.
Yeah, so go ahead, tell me about what is the secret sauce of this game that's not obviously apparent, but is the reason why you probably should be buying this game in the first place.
Yeah, so each of these cases, this is just case 1 out of 5, and each of these cases has multiple solutions and different people you can accuse, and your choices have consequences. So, for example, when you were talking to Andrew and you had the choice of what to tell him to take the pills, you told him just be quiet and take one of these pills, and you had the other 2. If you had picked one of the other 2, I won't say which one, but he would have gotten upset and been like, oh, are you threatening me? Well, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And then he would not have talked to you anymore. And all that information that you just got from him about knowing who his stepfather is and all that other stuff.
Yep, and the university and all that stuff.
Yeah, you would not have gotten that information. So that particular lead that you're following right now would have been closed off to you. So stuff like that it's important to be, to do your detective work and to like figure out what is worth following and what isn't. And it can even get to the point.
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
It can even get to the point where you close off all your leads and the case becomes unsolvable, at which point you go back to Upton and say, listen, I can't solve this case, I'm sorry, and then you move on to the next one. And that has an impact on the future cases and the story as well. So like, yeah, if you treat somebody badly and you meet them again in a later case, they're gonna remember that you were a dick to them, and so they might not help you. Alternately, like if you succeed and you solve the first case correctly, maybe you'll be rewarded for that later on, and information that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't solved the first case correctly will be available to you and make you get a better result. So that's kind of the thing about this game. So, I mean, we could probably wrap up the first case quickly if you decide what you want to do. Do you want to?
It's up to you if you want to show the first case wrapped up quickly, or if you'd rather show something else. Because we've got about 30 minutes before. Yeah, might be a good idea.
Do you want to? Let's ask the chat.
Let's get a conclusion. Let's get a conclusion of some sort. So
Does the chat want the case to be declared? I'm trying to think. Actually, can we still declare the case unsolvable at this point? Yes. So do we want to declare the case unsolvable, screw up all our leads? Do we want to accuse the wrong... do we want to accuse the guy who's in jail? Do we want to say, okay, yeah, he really did do it?
The goal?
Yeah, the guy in jail who we haven't talked to.
Yeah. Is that you?
Or what?
You look like something the cat spat up.
Hello,
or
Giles.
do we want to...
It's lovely to see you too.
Let's let him talk.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Once again, the true nature of New Britannia's finest rears its ugly, ignorant head. Maybe it's for the best that you resigned.
I don't think anybody ever gets that line. That's pretty funny. You only get that line if you've already dealt with the police officer in front of the tomb. If people want to play this game, I think that they should solve the perfect option on their own, or strive for the perfect option. So let's make it. We can either fail completely, we can accuse one wrong suspect, or we can accuse the other wrong suspect.
I kind of want to see it accused of the wrong person, actually. Do you get like a slap on the hand? Does it even tell you? Go on with it and not know.
You go on with it, and you'll find out organically sometimes if you accuse the wrong person.
Got it.
The name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
I'm going to accuse you.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack.
So the problem is that if we accuse the right person, it's going to take us more than 20 minutes.
Thank heaven.
Because it takes a little
That's
while.
Music to my ears.
But
would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
But now the question is, who do we want to accuse wrong? This guy or the other person?
Sorry, I had to throw the Monkey Island reference there.
The name of this track is A Victim of Society.
I'm a victim of society!
Yeah.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning.
Those aren't the only two you can accuse, Sophie, but those are the only two wrong ones you can accuse, as opposed to the right one. But the right one, to get to the right one, is going to take us a lot longer than 20 minutes. So if you want to accuse the right suspect in this case, go ahead and buy the game.
Buy my game!
Buy my game! You can buy it on Steam. Buy it on GoG.
people.
Quite unhumble.
We need to get you some
Just a
coffee.
bit more specific.
And then maybe
You
some
can't-
soporific and some spirits tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, you
She's a
can't
spiritualist.
accuse the cook.
Not quite. She's more like, how can I explain it?
And you definitely
you know
can't
how a
accuse
priest holds
yourself.
Mass to spread the word of God to the people.
All right,
My
so
mother
Albert
holds services
is
causing the
we're
spirits to
gonna
walk among us,
be a very
providing
bad
healing
cop
and
because we
guidance.
punched a cop in the
So
face,
she's
and then
a
we're gonna be
religious
like,
leader?
"Yep, it's the guy in jail. Case closed."
Most appropriate.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
does this religion
so we
use
are
our
going to
name?
accuse Albert Martin?
Yeah,
You'd probably know
Oh,
it
okay.
as
that's what we've got right now.
voodoo, but
All right.
it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
And I'm glad that you're here to tell about this because the game doesn't tell you. It feels like certain things are just kind of forced. And
Right.
when you have that water cooler moment with someone else, it's like, oh no, I went in and said this and like everything was fine. You'll be like, what? And then that's when you
Yeah.
replay it. It's like the same thing that happened in Mass Effect.
That's all for now.
Right. That's kind of what I wanted to go for. But you should ask him about voodoo. Have a little Gabriel Knight moment and ask him about
Okay,
voodoo.
let's do the voodoo then.
Yeah.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it. Before you go, would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Roch's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
A code phrase.
Thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
All right, so Albert's gonna get accused here.
Crosshair looking thing.
Okay.
on it.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
All right, Albert gave a message.
Mm-hmm.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Roch's dog is barking.
Oh, I see. That's good. That's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
Emmy's got some good cop logic. She's like, if you accuse everybody, then you'll find the culprit eventually.
That Albert has nothing to do with this awful business. Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
No, thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
All right, so do I talk to her?
Yeah, because what you want to do is look behind that curtain, but
I've got a few
can't really
questions
do
for
it
you,
while
Mr.
she's in the room.
I'll
Okay.
try to answer them the best I can.
So just ask for some tea.
Yeah, unless you want to
I'll
like
take you
ask
up on
her.
your offer for tea, after all.
Well, you said
No,
you
you can.
said
yeah.
we want to do the we want to
Yeah,
accuse the
yeah,
wrong
yeah, yeah.
person.
I'll
Yeah,
be back
all right.
shortly.
All right, so like she leaves.
So she leaves, and then you can have a look behind her curtain.
What's behind the curtain?
Amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
Am I Catholic? I am not Catholic. No.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin.
All right, what next?
All right. So now you ask her about her back room.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
Hey, baby,
try
what
to
can
answer
you
them
tell
the
me
best I
about your
can.
back room?
Hey, why are you being such a creepo sneaking around the house?
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
I was told
That's
by
right.
Stream.
Saint Roch is the patron saint of dogs and the wrongly accused. In fact, if Alex had asked her about it, she would have told you that.
Oh.
But you missed the chance, so now you can either
I had a look
you only get
around
one
it.
chance to do this.
Care
So
to explain what all those things in that back room are?
Mr. Fordham, I was under the impression you could be trusted. Clearly, Albert was wrong about you.
Why are you keeping them out of view? What's their significance?
I don't like people invading my privacy, Mr. Fordham. You're no longer welcome in my home. Please leave.
But without me, your son won't get out of jail. Nobody else thinks he's innocent. Are you really going to put your pride over your son's life?
And now you insult me? You're really something special. I won't say it again. Get out!
All right, dang.
You clearly hit a nerve there, Fordham.
Rather suspicious, if you ask me. Perhaps her and Mr. Martin's religious practices aren't as innocent as they claim to be.
An interesting notion. Well, I can't
right.
deny that the evidence against Mr. Martin is somewhat damning. If his mother was so sure of his innocence, she'd surely have explained what all those things behind the curtain were. I don't think Upton will appreciate being proven wrong. But like Fellows said, facts are facts.
Yeah, true facts, man.
Oh shit! Now you got a suspect.
Okay, so how do I
So
go to
now?
Upton?
Now,
and
yeah,
just-
you go back to Upton and you wrap up the case and accuse your suspect.
All right. Elitely, he's like, what a strange person getting offended when you try to further frame her son. Yeah. I wonder who would do that.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
All right, I'm like, man, you. Case closed, boys.
Yep, case closed.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
I'm glad that you can do this, though. This is awesome because there's
glad
so
that you
much.
think so.
There's so much more to the case. Whoa, this is really big. And yet, if you're just like, I want to skip a case, I got a suspect. Let's just go through to the next one. Like, you wouldn't do that your first time, but the fact that you can do this makes the game that much cooler, in my opinion.
Yeah, which is why I decided to design it this way.
I love it when a game does that because I think it's okay if there's content that you never ever see.
Can you save at this point? Yeah, if you got out of the conversation and you saved, you could save and then go back and play different branches. I mean, the game auto-saves every time you go onto the map, so you would have to do like a manual save.
But
that's
sure,
why I contemplated, for a while I did a Twitter poll and I contemplated a hardcore mode or like super detective mode where you
have to play the whole thing all the way through.
Well, yeah, where you couldn't manually save, but people get really angry.
Just make it a Chivo. Just make it a Chivo if they do it that way.
A lot of people got really upset at the idea of like, no, don't take away my saves. It's like, so I didn't.
All right.
But then amusingly, one review was like, oh, it would have been great if you couldn't just like save and load and fix your mistakes. Like that would. So I'm like, you see, you can't please everybody all the time.
Like you did. Yeah.
That's just a lesson you have to learn.
Yeah. It's game dev.
Exactly.
All right, let's accuse Albert Martin, the wrong person, which was voted on by our guests here.
I'm afraid it really was Albert Martin.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm afraid so. I tried speaking to his mother about their practices, and she threw me out. I also found a torn piece of a letter from Madame Dupre, threatening him if he ever got near her daughter. Not only that, the family doctor said the cause of Dupre's condition was poison, a method used by dark magic cults. Seems like sufficient means and motive to me.
And you're absolutely sure you found no other possible suspects?
I'm sorry, Upton. I know you thought he was innocent, but the facts are the facts.
I suppose they are. All right, Fordham. Then I have no choice but to drop this investigation. Unfortunately, this also means I can't get you any compensation for your work.
What?
That's all right, Upton.
What is that? How am I supposed to buy pizza?
For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
I'm getting Chivos for this. This is cool. I'm covering them up, though, because I don't want to spoil it for people.
Patty?
Right.
She must still be out at her hairdressing appointment. I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him. This is about you.
Me? Okay. What do you...
Me? What are you on about?
You can play dumb and deflect all you like with everyone else around you, but it won't work with me. I know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly what I'm going to say.
You want me to play the flower shop burglar?
You want to talk about how we did on this case?
Yes, that's exactly right. Have you already forgotten the old days, Miles? Before I died, we were solving cases like nobody's business. You were one of the best detectives on the force. But ever since you started taking that soporific, your mind hasn't been as sharp as before. If you're serious about taking on more complex cases, you need to listen to Adelaide and stop taking it. It's already had a negative effect on your performance.
What are you talking about? We were able to confirm it was Albert Martin.
And if you seriously believe it was him, then you've just proven my point.
Oh, shame. Shame.
If I stop taking it, you won't let me sleep through the night. Nothing will change.
Well, Things would change if you found you-know-who.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things.
An understatement if ever there was one. Can't you just keep quiet without me having to take something?
Afraid not, old friend. That's just not who I am or how this works.
If you keep me up all night, I'll go crazy. Things have been hard enough as it is. And if, God forbid, Adelaide were ever to find out about...
Hello, Miles. Is there someone else here? I thought I heard you talking just now.
Fantastic. The jig is up. And here I thought we were doing so well, too.
Oh, geez, I have, like, options here for, like, coming up. I was just thinking a lot. I was just talking to myself. I was just calling to see if you're home. I was thinking, that's a good one, actually, the first one.
No, I was just going over the case. Thinking aloud, you see.
Ah, of course.
How was your appointment?
Mrs. Lefebvre was her usual bossy and overly picky self, but she gave me a very generous tip.
That's good.
So I stopped by the shop on the way home and bought a new deck of cards.
Excellent. Shall we have a few rounds of écarté? I believe you demanded a rematch last time we played.
Yes, that would be nice.
Well, you certainly managed to dodge that bullet. I only wish I could say the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Zing.
It feels kind of bad, though, like, now that it's like he kind of like lets you know, it's like, hey, you did the wrong thing, dude.
Well, you've got 4 cases to make up for
They
it.
still don't know what caused that explosion.
I guarantee you it was sabotage. Those Redites have been causing a lot of trouble lately.
Is that the group of anti-steam tech radicals?
The very same.
Why Redites, though?
They're named after some fellow named Jonathan Red, apparently the one who began the whole anti-steam movement. It's really a rather stupid name, if you ask me. And uncreative, to boot.
Well, what would you call them, then?
The Boom Boom Boys, the Anti-Steam Society, or the League for the Preservation of Blowing Things Up. Yeah, that sounds overly wordy. Let's do it.
Perhaps something like the League for the Preservation of Blowing Things Up?
Blood King Wolf says, Anti-Steam Movement, you see, good old game.
Your nomenclature needs a bit of work.
Well, I think it's about time I get ready for bed.
All right, Miles, if you must.
Hey everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We are Human Interact. We stream every Friday, or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can check us out on Twitch live at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We were just playing Lamplight City with Francisco González, the creator. This game is out now on GoG, Steam, String G's,
and Humble, everywhere.
It's
Look
everywhere.
for it.
It's number 1 on GoG right now. I mean, like, who the hell said adventure games are dead?
Some people. They are wrong. So I worked on it for 2.5 years, and now it's out. So help me out, please. I want to eat and live. I guarantee you will enjoy it if you like detective games, if you like Edgar Allan Poe and or Charles Dickens, if you like Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, you will like this game.
Francisco did give us a free copy of this game for us to play. Francisco's also been on many of our streams. We are close friends, but I would have bought this game anyway because I am into point-and-click adventure games, and it's games that we play on our stream as well. So if you haven't seen those, take a look in the description of the video. We will have Francisco on for more adventure games later, but only if you buy his game.
And so I will leave you with a quote from our favorite parrot, which is, bye-bye! What have I done?
All right, everybody, have a great and safe weekend, and we will see you.